I thought I did. Well, now we're live. All right, let's try this again. Take two.
Don't fuck with them hoes.
All right, now we're live.
There we go.
Alive!
We're live. Sorry about that hiccup there. I forgot to click on the.
Hey, at least we found it 2 minutes in. That's all that matters.
All right. No, back to where we were saying. Yeah, everyone is talking about Prey, the latest entry into the Predator franchise. I think probably because how bad the Predator movie was and how disappointing everyone was, because everyone was thinking after, probably because of the disappointment Alien versus Predator Requiem was. That was very disappointing. And then we finally got a new Predator movie and it seemed like it was going to be good. But then we got that piece of crap with that horrible CGI stuff at the end of the film. So obviously they finally came up with Prey after Disney bought 20th Century Fox, and then he said they're going to create a new Predator film and a new Alien film. We got this film called Prey. Marty, you are a resident Predator expert. Overall thoughts on the film?
For me, this is an 8 out of 10 movie. It is a return to form for the franchise. Definitely holds its place in the franchise. I adore it. It's fantastic. As someone who's read the Predator Dark Horse comics since I was a teen, I have wanted to see a Predator story having a historical setting, and we finally get that. Because I've read stories where they've fought against knights in the Crusade. I've read stories where they've been in Gettysburg in World War One. They've taken out Nazis. One of the Predators gets taken out, and his wrist gauntlet may have contributed to the bomb dropped in Hiroshima. It's just there's so many avenues, and finally we get a story that is set in a historical period. I love it, not without its flaws. A couple of flaws with it, but by and large, the action was brilliant. The acting was fantastic. The interaction, sibling rivalry. I say rivalry, but the interaction between Amber Midthunder's Naru and Dakota Beaver's Tabwe is fantastic. I think that's the true heart of the movie. The Beast himself is pretty awesome. Took a while to get used to the face, still getting used to it, but by and large, really like it. Still have two nitpicks, but I'll get to them later.
Okay, Eric, your overall thoughts on the film?
Well, first off, there is not a Predator film I don't enjoy in some way, shape, or form, and that does include the AVP movies and The Predator. But I am also honest enough to admit that the franchise has peaks and valleys, and we've been very low lately. I still went into this very excited because, like Marty says, it's in a new era. You know what I mean? And it's really cool to see. I think he said it before. We're not against big buff dudes. You know what I mean? And I watched it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I was very happy with Amber Midthunder. I again, like Marty said, like her relationship with her brother. I liked the look of the Predator. I liked the build up between, because we'll get into it, because we're following two stories. We're following her tribe, and then we're getting little sprinkles of the Predator and what it's dealing with and learning about our planet, because it's not used to these animals and stuff like that. I thought the action was great. I just had a lot of fun, and to be honest, it exceeded expectations. And I don't want to say problems. Problems is the wrong word, but they're nitpicks overall. Very happy, very pleased with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, I gave it 4 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. For me, it's probably going to be one of my top 10 best horror movies of the year, depending on what happens toward the rest of the year is concerned. Obviously, Amber Midthunder was very great in the role. I like the fact that they actually cast actual Native Americans in these roles. So you got to give them credit for that. They decided not to do anything stupid and actually cast Native Americans. It's obviously they actually had somebody, because I heard that Dan said they actually hired a person who was a background in Native American culture,
Yeah,
especially
one of the
Comanche culture.
producers.
Yeah, one of the producers. So they
Yeah.
got everything authentically right as far as how the Comanche lived back during that time period. Yes, it was nice seeing them go back in time because if
Hmm.
I understood in the because I never read the Dark Horse comics, but I knew that they have a whole bunch of stories and lore regarding the predators. It, do you know why they came? Where did they came up with these two names, the Yachu and I think it's a Hisquintane?
Quarin. So
Yeah.
okay,
Here we go.
you're opening a can of worms here now, Monty. So there's an author by the name of Stephen Perry,
Hmm.
and after Dark Horse released their first Alien versus Predator comic book, they had a division called Millennium Printing. I'm going to get to the thing here. Millennium Printing, which done novelizations of the comics, and Perry, who was a big science fiction writer at the time, he was given the job, and he's like, "Oh fuck it, it's a licensed thing." They're like, "You can fill out and give the lore to these creatures whatever way you want." So he came up with the name, he came up with the caste system, he came up with like the fact is the species are called Yacha. The society is called Ishkarten, which is like the way we see like the word humans to describe us,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but people to describe us in a society. So if
Okay.
that kind of, I hope that kind of makes sense in a particular kind of
Hmm.
way. So
Yeah.
so Perry came up with so many things. Like there's an entire bibliography and language and shit that I could get into, but we're doing a stream. You don't have to fucking next week and then figure. Well, again, it is cool that this one science fiction writer thought he was like, oh fuck it, I'll do this tie-in. They're like, no, 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 no. We'll let you do whatever you like. So he also came up with the idea of the Predators kind of capturing the queen in certain terms and stuff like that. And he kind of helped flesh that out for better or worse in the latter
Hmm.
movies. But again,
Hmm.
we've a lot to thank for Stephen Perry, SD Perry for doing that stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's just a curiosity on my part of trying to. What did they come up with these two with these two names? Yeah,
Hmm.
I've seen it before when I was doing some backstory. When the Predator first was coming out, and I learned that was the first time I've heard that term used before when it comes to them, and I never. And I was always wondering where did that came from and why the two names. And thanks for educating me on that one. Okay, DC Campbell is here.
Hey, DMC.
Hey there.
You see, if you guys in the chat, you have anything to add on to your experience with obviously how Prey was, what you thought about it, what were some parts you didn't like, what are your parts that you like? Obviously, we're going to be making some comparisons between this and the first Predator because I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be comparing between how she battled the Predator and how Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch character
Hmm.
Predator because my brother had a couple of comments about that one, and I'll say that up later. What do you think about how the film looked? Because I thought Dave and his cinematographer did a fantastic job of how well the film looked.
I loved it. You know what I liked a lot is it was natural, but you could still see what was going on. Like, let's go to like the final season of like Game of Thrones when we had that battle at night. A lot of people were complaining that it was hard to see. You know what I mean? But it was, it was realistic. I liked how there was a lot of night scenes here, but it was lit in the moonlight perfectly. You wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have to like turn up the color on your television or however you watch it. The way some of these like the Native Americans looked like in front of the torches, it helped it look pretty, but it all you had this like ominous tone of like what they're going into, and then that scene with the French like fur trappers when the predator's taking all them out, and you have like all these trees that have been stripped and just the fog and the gray. I think it looked great, as well as just the settings. I don't know where they filmed it, but man, it was beautiful. Just the nature surrounding of it.
I think they shot it in Canada, but you are dead right. Some of the big wide spectrum shots, the vistas, this could have looked like a fantastic western in its
Mhm.
own right. The Predator mightn't have been in it. You could have been looking at like Hostiles or Dances with Wolves
Mhm.
or like any great modern western. Fuck, even modern. This is the scope of Sergio Leone in some scenes.
Mhm.
Like and I really appreciated that. You know?
Yeah, because that's what struck me. The first part was how well the film looked and how authentic
Mhm.
it looked. It didn't, it's obvious because yeah, right. They did film it somewhere around in Canada. I don't know where, but they definitely made sure that they it looked very authentic. You can see that there were certain times you could see there might have been some green screen in there, but you can see that it was all real. And I
Mhm.
liked how the night scenes at night, especially during the first part when they're going after the mountain lion. Oh, by the way,
Mhm.
we're going. Well, I meant to tell you that we will spoil the film, so if you haven't seen it, stop the live stream, go watch the film, and then come watch the replay because we will be spoiling it. So that scene right there with the night, that was fantastic because yeah, it was dark, but it was I like how they lit it so that
Mhm.
it was dark and it looked like they used natural light, nothing any really anything lighting that you would normally would see.
Yeah, it looked great, and like I said, you didn't have to squint to
Hmm.
figure out what was going on. Like when they made the stretcher for the injured Native American, and they were bringing him back, it was still darkness and stuff like you could see it, but it was just lit perfectly. You didn't see too much. You saw how they would see it out there in nature. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, because I know Cody Lynch, he actually made this comparison, and I just realized it because in the one problem what you have with Alien versus Predator Requiem, that film is dark. You can't see
Yes.
shit. You can't see
Hmm.
shit, especially during the tunnel scene where you see the predators going after the predators going after the aliens. It's so dark, you can't even
Like
see
the
anything.
sewer. Yeah.
Yeah, the sewer scene, yes.
Hmm. That was one of my major problems with AVPR was it's just so damn dark. I mean, you can tell there's good action going on, but yeah, you shouldn't have to adjust your television set to see a movie properly.
Hmm.
Uh, Essentially, the Strauss brothers were not competent enough
Hmm.
to shoot the creatures. ADI is kind of hit or miss. They really knocked it out of the park this one. But ADI's creatures, particularly the xenomorphs in AVPR, they weren't up to snuff. And the Strauss brothers were like, we don't know how to fucking film this, so they
Hmm.
don't look rubbery. So let's just drench the whole fucking thing in darkness. And sadly, that's one of the major issues with that movie.
Mm, damn. Yeah, so obviously we got to talk about Amber Mid Thunder and Naru. What do you think about her as a character? Now, obviously, you're probably going to get some people going to say, "Oh no, Predator is now woke." You're going to get that backlash, and I hope it's very to a minimum. But what do you think about her as a character?
Uh,
Go ahead, Marty.
well, I think we're going to be singing from the same hymn sheet here.
Yeah.
But this character, if anyone says she's a Mary Sue, did you watch the fucking movie? She fucks up
Yes.
time and time and time again. But the fantastic thing is, she uses her fuck ups
Hmm.
to learn and help her defeat the predator in the end. Eric, take it away. You probably could explain it a lot
I
more
mean,
eloquently.
I said it. I said it when you were with Knight a couple days ago. I said if she was a Mary Sue, if she was perfect, if she knew what she was doing from the get go, she wouldn't have failed with the mountain lion.
No.
She wouldn't have just failed. She wouldn't have had to have her brother carry her back to the village. You know what I mean? That's there's right there number one. I said it in my video that I just put up. When she's caught in the bog, she doesn't rescue herself right away. It takes her 4 or 5 tries to pull herself out. And with this whole woke thing, I've said it on me and Marty. We did a long Predator stream, and I've said it before. There are woke movies. You can't deny it. Race change, sex change, orientation, all that stuff. It happens, and a lot of times it's just to fit a narrative. Here with Prey, I think the problem was, and it's to its detriment. It came out at the time when that is a big thing.
Hmm.
And now a lot of people are just so sick of it, or they just pointed out that's woke, that's woke, that's woke. It came out at a time when all these things are out, and it just kind of lumped in there, and everyone assumes it is before watching the movie. And like Marty always points out, have you guys never heard of Ellen Ripley? Have you guys never heard of Sarah Connor? we've had these strong female protagonists decades before Prey. And I think people just kind of forget that because they just kind of point the finger. You know what I mean? I think she's a great character because, like Marty said, she learns. She's not so skilled. She it's not in your face. She wants to be more than just an herbalist, medicine woman, however you want to say it. You know what I mean? She wants to be accepted, but it's not eye rolling. It's not like in Endgame when one of the female characters says, "I have my own team," and then all the women show up behind them. That's eye rolling. This is
That
gradual.
makes me laugh. That scene. It's like,
But
what
you
are
get
all
my
the other lads? It's like, what are
Yeah,
these bitches doing? We're in the middle of a fight here,
right.
and they're fucking posing for a catalog. What
Yeah.
the
yeah,
fuck?
But you get my point. You know what I mean? It was gradual and it was believable because she failed. And the thing is, I liked how Tabe, even though he, he is, a male in this in Native American culture, and the women are sometimes looked at as, taking care of the babies, making the medicine stuff. He still encouraged her, and he's like, okay, he wasn't like looking down at her because she's a woman, like the others did. So, and like I said, she was already an excellent tracker, so she used her own skills to progress and defeat this creature.
yeah, that's one of the things I liked about the movie. She wasn't this total badass woman. She made her mistakes. She struggled.
Mm-hmm.
But she learned from her mistakes, and then she used her mind. And I think that's one of the aspects I liked about the character. And she was strong. I like the fact that when they came to rescue, when they came to look for her, and the other guys were trying to belittle her, and she still stood her ground. I think that scene
Mm-hmm.
was one of the strongest scenes in the
Yeah.
picture, and she held her own in the fight too. And I thought that was pretty good. Good.
And the thing is, if she was a Mary Sue, she would
Hmm.
have kicked his butt right away. No, he got some good licks in on her
Oh
too.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
She would have been able to knock him out right away. But no, he was able to take her down. So
Hmm.
if she was a Mary Sue, she would have just. That's how I look at it, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah, another aspect of the film that we like. Obviously, we brought his name up, Tabe. I thought he was a great brother. He respected her
Mm-hmm.
skills, and I like the fact that he insisted that she go on ahead and be going ahead and do the thing that in order for her to make a great hunter, just like how he became one, he encouraged her to do one, even though he would tease her from time to time. And then obviously, when the mistake that she made with the mountain lion, even though she was distracted by the light, and that's why she fell. But then he told her, "says Look, you can't because unfortunately you failed. In his own words, you didn't bring it home."
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And that's just part of the culture too. You know what I mean? But like I said, he didn't discourage her
Hmm.
because he also says it was your idea that helped me do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So basically, he wouldn't have been successful possibly if it wasn't for her saying, "Well, let's use bait and hang it from the tree," type of thing, and wait.
Hmm.
I like the fact as well. We did any other kind of like subpar writer would have done the stereotypical thing of Tabe kind of just going, "Oh, you're a girl, fucking quit us." He'd have been like
Exactly.
the other guy, but instead, as Eric pointed out, he encouraged her. Yes, he kind of he kind of was a bit hastened with certain things, but that wasn't out of looking down for her. More that he was
I mean,
genuinely worried about her. He was like,
Big
I
Brother.
don't want you to die. I care about you. You're my
Hmm.
sister. But
Yeah.
it was never out of a place of malice or
Hmm.
looking down on her. And he did encourage her, and that's really good fucking writing. And that's
And
something
they
I
had
think is
great
missing. You know?
chemistry too. I think the two
Yeah,
actors. I thought they
Yeah.
were
No,
fantastic together,
yeah.
whether the very beginning or when they're working together at the end when they're captured. And I'll say this: I know I won't jump around, but and we're gonna do spoilers. When Tabe comes in on that freaking horse at the end, holy shit! That was a fist pump moment for me.
Oh yeah.
that was cool.
That was a decent scene right there. That showed
Mhm.
that he knew what he was doing, and it actually showed that the predator was not this real big, unstoppable monster. He had vulnerabilities,
Mhm.
which most of the time we really don't get to see that in some of the predator movies. Before they seem to be these unstoppable these unstoppable aliens, but now in this one we actually see that he can be hurt,
Mhm.
and the great line, if it bleeds, we can kill
You can get it.
it. Okay. Obviously, the look of the Predator. I actually did enjoy it because one of the things I really did like about the film is that he wasn't as advanced as we've seen the other Predators. Obviously, he had this sort of a primitive look on his face. We still had the mandibles
Hmm.
and we still had the mask, but the mask was quite different than what we used before. What you thought about that, Marty?
Um, Mask is kind of a throwback because there has been other comics and other designs. There has been quote unquote primitive predators that have incorporated technology into animal skulls and
Hmm.
worn it themselves. Like there's one guy called the shaman, and there's another guy I have called the alpha, and they used animal skulls, and that was pretty cool. So the thing is, what saved me with this guy. Again, I'm still getting used to him. But there's two ways you can look at it. And Monty, you said it yourself. This guy is a primitive predator. And people are like, well, it's only 300 years from the last movie. Humans haven't changed that much. Keep in mind, we don't know how long that ship has been traveling from Yacha Prime to Earth.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind. The other thing is, we don't know the size of the predator homeworld. The planet in Predators was not their homeworld. Their planet
Right.
could be much bigger. There could be hundreds of continents. There could be 50 different continents. Like just like in the human race, someone from Cambodia doesn't look like someone from fucking Ireland. The
Hmm.
people are going to look different, and that would be the same with an alien species. And I would tell people that before they go shooting him down. My issue I had with it was when I first saw him, I was like, that looks like the Arbiter from Halo, and I was like, okay. After a while, he warmed to me, just like the Berserker in 2010's Predator warmed to me. But yeah, I liked him. I liked the fact this guy could have probably didn't even need the fucking weapons. He was for most of the movie he was just using his brute strength to take out stuff. And I like that about the creature. And I again, as Monty said, I liked the primitive design. I liked the primitive use of weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the one thing I'm glad he didn't have, I'm glad he didn't have the plasma cannon that we've seen before, in most
Hmm.
of all the predators. Because if he had one, this would have been a very short fight.
Right.
Very short fight.
That's
uh,
that's a good point. Like Marty, it's gonna take me a little while to get used to the new look, but that's because how many times have we seen the classic look? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
mhm.
And it's a weird tangent. I said it in my video. It was kind of like when the new Ninja Turtles movie came out. We're used to the Jim Henson stuff, and then now
yeah,
once we got the CGI stuff, you get used to it after a while. I mean, a weird tangent. I did. I was hit back and forth. Like I do and I don't like how the mandibles you can see under the mask. I do like how I don't know if it's actual bone that the mask is made out of, but I do like how it has technology in it. Um, we and like with every Predator movie, we get different weapons, and like you said, Monty, I'm glad he didn't have the plasma cannon, and it now shoots it's like targeted spears. I think it
Hmm.
was.
yeah,
And what I like about this is we're 300 years in the past, right? It's a learning experience. We know that eventually causes the predator's downfall. Maybe that's how they get to, like, at least in the movies, going to the plasma cannon. You know what I mean? It's learn from your mistakes type of thing. The shield was badass. I
Oh
loved
yeah,
the
oh
shield.
shield was great.
So overall, I liked the look. It's just the mask will take some getting used to, and it's only because it's different. You know what I mean? And it's a big different from the facial mask that we're used to.
Yeah, no, yeah, because
yeah,
it was totally different. Because when I first saw it in the trailer, and then when I finally saw it, I said, "Wow, this is really different."
Hmm.
He looks, yeah, say he looks kind of primitive. Because the first instinct was like he looks primitive. He doesn't look like the typical predator that we've seen before, and I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure that they've had to evolve all the way back from that time period to now what we saw back in '87.
Yeah, the face is different, but the face is different in all the movies. There's no fishnets. The dreads are different. I don't even know if he wore sandals like we've seen the original Predators wear. So it's just like it'll be a cool evolution of the look. You know what I mean? If you watch Prey first and then go to
Mm,
Predator and two and so forth.
okay. So obviously, when the predator lands, and this is something that we haven't seen before in any of the predator movies, he starts hunting other animals. So what do you thought about that, Marty?
Um, okay, I want to clear something up because everyone is getting confused about this. This is not the first time this species has visited Earth. This is the first time this clan has visited Earth.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, it's a snake. What the fuck is this yoke?
Mhm.
Hey, this wolf. This thing's fast. Let's see what I can do with this. Oh, it's a fucking bear. All right, fuck it. Let us go. It's again. It's not familiar
Mhm.
with the species, and like I think Eric pointed this out as well. It's gradually working its way up the food chain. It's like
Mhm.
fucking killing something small, then bigger, then bigger. Oh, these motherfuckers got spears.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do with them. It's clever way of doing it. Um, I like the fact we finally got to see a predator take on animals. Some of the CG on the animals was better than others.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I will admit the bear actually worked out a shite sight better than I thought it would. The trailers didn't do it justice.
Yeah.
I thought the bear fight was good.
Oh yeah, the bear didn't go down easy, and that's
No.
what I
No,
thought was a great surprise.
Hmm.
I liked the reveal. I liked how you saw an ant crawling, and then suddenly the ant's crawling in the air.
Yeah, I
And
know.
you know what I mean? And then it's crawling on the invisible predator. I don't know if it was a wolf or a coyote, but I liked how the predator took on, excuse me, another predator. You know what I mean? In the animal kingdom, and that was just cool. And I'm glad you said that, Marty. I didn't know if this was the actual predators first time there, but you said it's another clan, and that makes sense too. That also talks about, makes you think of, that's why this predator could look so different from our classic predator, because if you remember the one with the Adrian Brody, Berserker and Falcon, that's another clan as
and
well.
yeah,
So
Hmm.
it's just like, whites, blacks, Asians. There's different races of predators
yeah.
as well. So yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up too, because I wasn't sure. Because now that also opens it up for like even going further back in the past. Because if this isn't the predator's first time, we can go past the 1700s.
Yeah.
Want to
You
see a
might.
fucking Pred take out a T Rex? Fuck it, I'm there. Day one.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Hey, maybe they encountered dinosaurs.
You want to see primitive? Have them go against cavemen with their clubs. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There is a fucking bonkers novel, not the best of the Predator novels, but it's like, what would they, Doctor Dandridge? What have you learned about this race? They arrived on the planet 65 million years ago, and the dinosaurs seemingly disappeared overnight. So they're fucking saying one novel is saying the predators wiped out the dinosaurs, which okay.
DC Campbell packing Predator, Predator 2, and Prey, and the three film pack is no brainer.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
no idea if Hulu's going to release it or not. I hope
I
so.
hope
It's
they
with it
do.
being
Yeah,
such a big hit.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, because it still boggles the mind. Why did not Disney release this in theaters? Because I'm pretty sure they're kicking themselves in the butt now.
I
I,
think
I,
it. I think they're testing the waters because Predators was moderate hit. The
mm,
Predator was not. So I think they wanted to test the waters to see how this one would, how the fans would react, how the critics would react. And now that this one is so big, I don't think this is the last time we've seen the franchise in theaters.
mm,
Yeah,
fingers
especially
crossed.
because you got to be careful now because theaters are still limited. You know what I mean? Some theaters are still doing the spaced out seating. Some theaters aren't open anymore. So I think they want to test to see if they can actually make money. And everyone's praised this one. At least critics have praised it. A lot of fans are, and I think this was just kind of a, like I said, testing the waters.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, because I think the best fight was with the bear, and I really love that one because the bear fights back.
Hmm.
It looks like the bear gets on his hind legs. We don't see the predator, but the predator, I guess he was just playing possum. Next thing you know, one hit, bang, and the bear goes down.
Hmm.
I like the fact, even though it did kind of look a bit phony to me. That was the only thing I didn't like was the blood coming off from the bear,
Hmm.
and you could tell that whatever they tried to do to make it look authentic, they really did not succeed in it. It was. I don't know. It was because they were trying to use the cloaking of his whatchamacallem at the
Hmm.
same time when you had the CGI blood coming off from the bear. It didn't look right to me.
You know.
And I think the cloaking device itself looks a little different. I don't think it's as crisp as like in the original. So like again, this could be an improvement of their tech overall. Yeah, but
Hmm.
that's just how I took it. And honestly I was expecting the CG on the bear to be worse. So I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I think maybe
Hmm.
if the fight went a little longer, it would have been a lot more noticeable. So
Yeah.
kind of like in a roundabout way, kind of like AVPR, you kind of hide the mistakes.
Yeah, I still can't believe they couldn't figure out a way to, to do that. They just gave up. That's terrible. Yeah, so obviously we get the fur trappers, the French
Mm.
fur trappers. They come into the play.
Oh my god.
I've never been so happy to see so many frogs. French lads, sorry, tiny French watchers. French trappers getting dispatched. It was a veritable smorgasbord of carnage. And it was done, honest to God, the net, when that guy gets pinned to the log and mulched,
Oh
that
Yes.
was
yeah,
like, and it was so clever because you didn't see it, but you did see it.
Hmm.
That would have been my first kill. That would have been my favorite kill. My favorite kill is the dumbass who thought he could shank the predator when he had him up against pinned up against the log, and you
Hmm.
see your man pulling the knife, and the predator's like, "Are you for fucking real? You're going to pull a knife on me?" And just takes his head off with the shield. I just
Yeah. 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 I knew that when the trappers came, I said that's just going to be carnage candy. You know what I mean?
hmm
Um, they were just such assholes, and it made sense for the time, because they're there. They skin the buffaloes, which was a brutal scene, just walking into that. But my only problem is, I didn't have a problem if they were just assholes. It was. I wish we were able to know what they were saying with the subtitles. That just would have helped me a little bit more. I know it was more authentic, but the fact that Nauru and Tabe and them, they went back and forth between English and Comanche. I kind of wish we knew a little bit more about what the French guys were saying, other than the very weak interpretation that the one interpreter was. But I knew when they showed up, I said, okay, we're going to get a bloodbath, and that's the only reason they're there, which makes
Yeah,
sense why they're so unlikable, because you're happy when they're dispatched. You know what I mean?
uh,
So
yeah. I know one of the criticisms that my brother actually told me he didn't like with the fact that they had the Comanche speaking perfect English, and we all know at that time they didn't speak English at all. And Dan said they did actually film a version where they actually speak Comanche,
mhm.
but then he didn't want to confuse the audience.
there is you can watch it in Comanche dub. I think he's I think if you're watching it, the characters they're talking Comanche to each
Right.
other,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but just for our benefit, it's
Hmm.
it, it's being translated into English. I don't know. In Doctor Who, where Doctor Who has like he understands all alien languages because he's a device. I'm probably explaining this bad, but no, it's just they are talking Comanche, but it's kind of done in English for our benefit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that makes sense because the Comanche option is really cool. I mean, I don't think that's ever been done, but it would be tough just I hate to say the layman's, or you know what I mean, to watch a film just in Comanche. It would be very hard to follow with just subtitles. It's not a foreign film, you know what I mean? It's you got to keep the audience in. But it's kind of it'd be kind of like the new Mortal Kombat movie when Scorpion and Sub Zero talking to each other. That's subtitles, but they're speaking Chinese and Japanese. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
so I get it. I do wish we knew what the hell the trappers were saying.
I was saying, well, and that's why I told my brother. I said, well, you have to understand something. It's like the last thing you want to do is to lose your audience and have them try to read subtitles because unfortunately, most audience they don't like reading subtitles. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
don't like foreign films. That's
Mm-hmm.
why good foreign horror films don't get the love that they deserve because nobody wants to read subtitles.
Right.
Hmm. Subtitles. Darn it, that's my train of thought. uh, um, Yeah, so we see the first time when the predator attacks the Indians, the Comanches,
Ooh.
and brutal scene right there. Brutal scene right there. What do you thought about that scene, Marty?
Um, it wasn't until Coriander pointed it out Coriander and Killian pointed out, in comparison to what happened with the French guys, the Comanche Braves put up a good fight.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
They don't go down easy. They get a couple of licks in on the Predator,
Hmm.
whereas the trappers are just fucking idiots. The Braves do the fucking business. Like
Hmm.
they go out like champs,
Hmm.
and that was pretty cool. And like you kind of realize that that's the scene that makes you realize, okay, Naru is going to have to use a bit of gray matter to take this thing out, because like even when Tabe is fighting him, he's kind of like he's giving it his all, and the Predator's still kind of taking the licks. So
Hmm.
it's kind of clever to try and show, look, even the most even the most skilled warrior is going to have trouble
Hmm.
dispatching this thing, and I thought that was clever, and it was pretty cool as well. You know?
Yeah, I thought it was a great scene too. And just to go back with like the whole woke thing, because now it's it's Native Americans. If this movie was woke, in my opinion, I don't think the rescue party, I guess as you would call them, they more of them would have survived. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
wasn't pandering to a group, but like Marty said, they didn't go down with the fight like the bear. They did what they did, but that predator still kind of handed them their ass. And I liked that because no one's safe in this movie. Up until we don't even know if at this point if Naru is safe, but it was cool just seeing them fight him. But he's also tossing them around like rag dolls. He's cutting off limbs and stuff like that. It was a good action sequence, and I loved it.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought that was a great scene because it actually showed the fighting prowess of the Comanches,
Hmm.
and even though they really they went down fighting and they really really they weren't as good as Tabe,
Hmm.
but they were still incredible fighters, and they really
Hmm.
showed what a great warriors that they were. Back at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. So obviously, when we get we get of course towards the end of the film, and unfortunately, like I said, I am going to spoil this. So unfortunately, Tabi gets killed. There's this great line when he says to her, he said, "I think he knows that the predator is behind him." And
Hmm.
he knows, he said, this is the end of the line for me, this is it. And no, he gets killed, but he still goes down fighting, and then we obviously Naru has to do what she has to do in order to defeat him. What do you thought when she actually learns how to use the flint gun for the first time?
I liked how she couldn't figure it out the first time. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It took some practice. And again, I liked that was that callback when her brother was killed because he said the exact same line that he was telling her
mm,
how you got to feel about this mountain lion. You know what I mean? You got to make it feel like that it's not going any further. And he knew that that's what it was with him. And like I said earlier, when he came out on that horse and he speared the predator, you knew this was his hero moment, his death. But he went out like a champ. His death is probably my favorite kill because even though I love the character so much, I love the way he went out as a hero, protecting his sister, and he just went out like a badass. And it was kind of funny her repeating all the steps for the flint gun. You know what I mean? And it still didn't work out right away. So I thought that was some much needed humor, but not overkill with the humor for this brutal scene.
mm. Yeah, because I love the fact that when she learns that the orange flower cools the blood, so that way it actually lowers the body temperature, so that way the predator can't see you with his thermal vision.
Hmm.
So I thought that was great how she does it, and then the final part where she traps, I think it's called Big Beard. I think that's how he's listed in the credits, and he's the main guy. How she gets her brother's revenge by tricking him to go and the predator to go after him.
Hmm.
The one thing I liked about the final fight was, and again, it's in the dark, but we can see everything,
Hmm.
which was
Yeah.
good because you get to see everything. And I thought it was very. I like how they choreographed it, and I like how she gets to jump on him. And you gotta love that dog.
Oh, the dog was great.
Dog was cool.
What's the dog named Sherry or Sunny? Because a lot of people I got two distinct. I heard
I
someone.
I I thought
I think it was
I
Shuri.
thought she was called I thought it was Sunny,
Oh,
Mm,
and I thought it was Sunny because I thought it was a nod to Sunny Landham
hmm
mm,
in the original Predator. But I
mm.
also heard that is the dog's actor maybe called Sherry? Maybe there's some mistake like that.
Yeah,
yeah, I have
because
no
Something
idea.
like
I
that.
distinctly heard her call the dog because when you look it up, it's spelled Sarii, and that's Sari to me. That's if you pronounce it
Hmm.
that way. I don't see how you get Sunny out of that. But the dog was wonderful. I love the dog.
Oh, he was cool.
uh, it was the obviously she must have spent some time with it in order to get it to do all the things necessary. Because I like how she gets the dog to get the whitetail and how the dog flanks the whitetail to get her to where he get her where she needs to go so she can kill it, even though she doesn't get it. But that
hmm
was great how she just used certain language and the dog knew exactly what to do and bang.
Oh yeah, and she used hand movements. When she was like moving around, like her hands around her face when
Mm,
the dog's looking at her. So yeah, this dog and her definitely had a long relationship, and she trained it well.
mm,
And it was cool seeing a dog do this. It wasn't hokey, it wasn't cheesy, it wasn't ha ha funny. You know what I mean? It served its purpose.
mm. Yeah, no, I'm glad the dog did not die.
Yeah.
So did Jen for two reasons. One, she doesn't like anything happening to dogs. The other reason was, Monty, I think you've seen it as well. Day Dem had something happen to dog as well, and she was in bits. So she's like, okay, at least the universe like saved this dog.
Mm,
They killed this one in this movie. So
I was surprised the dog made it because, like I said, I didn't know who was safe. You know what I mean? If a predator's going to kill a bear, a snake, destroy half, the rescue party or whatever, I didn't know who was safe. But I am glad that the dog made it.
mm. Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad the dog did not die because that really went off. She might have gotten off her game if something would happen to the dog. But
hmm
obviously, when we get to the final scene, and I like how she uses her skills because she learns how the predator hunts,
hmm
and she uses that against him, which is something we have not seen in any of the predator films. The person who's obviously not as physically strong as any of the other people that went up to the predator, but she used her brains in order to trap it. First, she gets the mask off of him, which I
hmm
thought was a great idea, and then she actually puts it somewhere to where it turns it against it. I thought that was brilliant. So, what you thought about that, Marty? You thought that was a decent way for her to fight it?
I thought it was cool. Again, it's kind of the expansion. One thing I noticed, if you watch the Predator movies, it's it's not it 9 times out of 10 when you defeat a predator it isn't out of physical prowess.
hmm
It's you gotta use your brain and you gotta hope that the predator you're fighting is a cocky motherfucker. Same in the first one, same
hmm
in the second one, same in the one Adrian Brody fought. This guy was like, I got all these weapons. This is from the human. I'm gonna take it out. But no, he got too cocky. He got too complacent. He went after this one-legged hunter could eat a musket. He didn't bother checking to see if Naru was in the vicinity when he went for the hunter,
Mm,
and that was his downfall. And again, it's the cool. It's kind of tropey, but it's the underlying thing I think on how humans defeat predators in the movies and in the comics and in the video games. They always get cocky and they always get arrogant, and she used that as well.
hmm
mm,
Uh, Monty, you saw my thoughts on it on my video. I'm kind of 50-50 right now with
mm,
this. I have no problem that the predator was tricked. You know what I mean? And it was able to use its weapons against him. My only gripe, I guess you would say, and again, a lot of my gripes are just nitpicking. I didn't really like so far how it was just kind of a definitive kill of the
mm.
predator. I mean, we're always going to compare it to the first one, no matter what.
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of liked how the predator literally got the last laugh. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I liked how in two, you know, Harrigan kills the one, but then you have that oh shit moment when everyone else, shows up behind him. I just kind of wish there was a little bit more. You know what I mean? Instead of, we're gonna spoil. It tricks it to use its spears on itself, and through the head, and then it just kind of slumps over. I love how Naru looked when she went back to her village with the head, just like King Willie. We're gonna get a King Willie mention, you know what I mean? And the paint. Well, I felt like such a dumbass, when I saw the original poster, her face, she's got green paint on. I didn't even fucking realize until I watched the movie that that's the Predator blood.
Yeah.
No,
I
when I
just wish there was a little bit more to the end of the fight. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
yeah,
Ted,
it kind of makes sense to me because I guess I wanted a little bit more, but I guess they felt as though what we had was good enough. So
Mhm.
that's the reason why the fight lasts as long. Because I know my brother, he made a comparison between her and Dutch, and Dutch got his ass kicked for
Well, yeah.
about a good 4 minutes. Before he got it, and he said, and Naru didn't get touched at all. And I told him, I said, that's because she used her brain.
Mhm.
She knew she was not a physical match to the Predator, and
Exactly.
the fact that she actually outwitted it, not only because plus she had sorry too, but she did the right thing. You always sort of know when she got a chance to hit it, she hit it. I like the fact when she used his disc against him
Mhm.
when he got his claw stuck on the door and he tried to hit her and he took his own arm off.
Yeah, that was
Mm.
cool.
I did any of you guys notice as well the Predator kind of learned from its mistakes? Because Tabe got him with his own spear, and
Mhm.
then when Naru tried to hit him with the spear again, it folded up automatically on him.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
Mhm.
noticed that?
No, I
yeah.
didn't.
So it's like,
I did.
fool me once.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
You got me that time, but you're not gonna get me next thing because the thing
Yeah,
closed up. That's why she like hesitating. Was like, what the? I thought
yeah.
I had it, and
Mhm.
she had to stop it. Uh, DC Campbell actually had a, good question, and what do you think is next on the Predator saga? I mean, because obviously, even though we didn't see it, there was a little montage at the end credits where they had this Indian painting, and at the end of the film, we actually see ships coming down
Mhm.
on the whatchamacallit. Do you think? I'm pretty sure that because Dan said that they're probably going to be more sequels in it. It depends upon what Disney wants to do after this. I'm pretty sure once they get enough response, and I don't know how they do the. I think that how they do the views first,
Mhm.
and eventually you might get some type of ratings from Nielsen. But I'm pretty sure that more like we're probably getting another Predator movie. So, what would you like to see in the next saga of the Predators?
So, okay, with me, there's two things, and one of them goes into my last nitpick. There's what I want, but there's also what I need. What I need is to find out how Greyback got that fucking flintlock off Naru.
Yes.
I need that
Yes.
explained.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I need that explained because that flintlock broke my fucking heart because there's a fantastic Predator story called Predator 17 15, which shows how Greyback got the pistol. That's no longer canon.
Right.
That story's out of canon and no more. But I need to see like like I was talking to my friend Anthony in the shop, and he was working today. I called in and we were talking about it as well, and he's like, "Man, I hate to say it, like if they don't do a sequel, we'll have to just assume that that tapestry, those predators came down and murdered
Yeah.
Naru and her entire, which would be desperate after all that shit. But like, we need an explanation to how he gets that pistol.
Mhm.
That's what I need, what I want, and what like I'd say 80% of the people out there want Edo era Japan. We need fucking predators down in Edo era Japan. It would be chef's fucking kiss of a movie if we got a predators fighting samurai.
Well, that's you hit the nail on the head for me. Because we've had a couple Easter eggs.
Mhm.
Tabe says, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." Naru, she does the come on, kill me" line, and then Tabe, he doesn't do it himself, but even he is cut across the chest like Billy.
Yeah,
But the
Mm,
biggest Easter egg is that pistol,
yep.
and we do need to know how it went from Naru to the Predator clan, to Danny Glover, because that's a big deal. It is in the
yeah,
franchise, in the lore. It's a big deal. Him getting that trophy in Predator 2.
Mm,
I think we're gonna have a sequel because it's like I said, you got Bill Duke praising it. Jesse Ventura praising it. A lot of people are praising it, and from what I've read, it's got a lot of views so far. I think it's one of the most viewed thing on Hulu in months. At least it's something I read like right before the stream, and I think that sequel will happen. I hope it's done well, but we don't know. But like Marty said, and like I've said, we also can go anywhere now, because especially if Marty said that this is just this clan's first time on Earth, we don't know the first time the Predators came to Earth, so we can go past 300 years. But yeah, let's see a Predator take on the Samurais, and there's actually already right now. It's been in less than a week. There's already an online petition of the Predators versus a Samurai, played by the actor who was Scorpion in this last Mortal Kombat movie, and he was also in the Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. So there's already an online petition, but let's. I want to see Predators versus the Pirates. I want to see them versus like King Arthur. You know what I mean? Fuck it, Predator in the Wild West. You know what I mean? Seriously, as goofy as some of this stuff sounds, the options are now limitless. It was just kind of a joke, but let's see them go hunt a fucking caveman or a T-Rex. You know what I mean?
Might do something better than Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh, that won't take much, but I think the possibilities are endless. You don't have to keep going forward into the future. You know what I mean? Let's look at all these huge areas of the past. Let's see them take on a fucking Viking. You know what I mean? Good luck with that. So that's what I want. I definitely want to see a Predator versus the Vikings or the Samurais, because I think that will be fantastic.
Yeah, because I don't know if the filmmakers read any of the Dark Horse comics or the story, because if I remember correctly, he got that from a pirate. If I got that right,
Yeah.
Marty?
Dan Trachtenberg recently revealed that he actually he apologized to the comic book fans, because he said he was supposed to get, there's this, when doing any franchise movie, there's called a Bible. So you're doing a Star Wars movie, you're given a Bible. It's a list of all the creatures, all the weapons, all the kind of lore. He wasn't given that. So he kind of had to do a fly-by-night job. And he done a fantastic fucking job for it. But then when he found out and read the story, he's like, oh man, I would have watched this thing and it would have been fucking great. Because the Raphael Andolini in that comic is a fucking badass. Not some sniveling fucking translator for a bunch of fucking frauds.
Yeah.
He was a badass pirate captain who fucking turned on his own crew because they robbed a monastery and teamed up with the Predator. That is a fucking brilliant story. And if any of you got the Dark Horse Omnibus, check it out. It's in one of them. It's a brilliant fucking story. But yeah, I would like that. And as Eric said, the other thing is, despite them being all set in contemporary times, they've never really relied on linking too close to each other either. We've never had any characters from prior movies turn up in other movies.
Right.
So we're not shackled with that. I definitely think that there is so many avenues explored. I do have a question for before we wrap out the stream, but I'll wait till you get to, because I've been wanting to ask this for ages. But I sorry, Eric. Go on.
No. That's all I had to say. I mean, I would just, like I said, versus a Viking or a samurai. That I think that'll just be amazing, because we'll still have the primitive weapons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think they have plenty of avenues to go. Yeah, it'd be nice to see them stick with the past, whether it be Vikings, samurais, the old Wild Wild West, dinosaurs, caveman. There's a lot of avenues they can go into this franchise now with the success. And as long as the story is well, you have great characters, it's filmed well, you have great special effects. You can see you can do a great and effective story, and not be lazy like they were in Alien versus Predator Requiem. You can't just be lazy at all. Okay.
Yeah, well said.
All right, favorite kill in the franchise. What's your favorite kill, Marty?
The dipshit who tried stabbing the Predator that had him pinned up against what? Just beats the dude who got mulched by a narrow margin. But just like, are you for fucking real? But a fucking way. Just the look he gave him. It was just.
Yeah.
Your favorite kill, Eric?
Yeah, like I said, I got to go with Tabe because the dude went out like a champ. He had that he like even when they were tied to the tree, he says, "I got to get me a horse." He shows up on his horse, stabs it like a boss, the predator, and he knows it's his time. And when he goes down, it's again he gets it with the wrist blade, and he doesn't give up on that fight. It's a great character who got a great death.
Yeah. Believe it or not, my favorite kill in the series comes from Predators. Walter Goggins' character, he goes out fighting. Unfortunately, he gets killed, but when he gets his spine ripped out from him after he gets killed,
Oh, you meant from the franchise? Oh,
yeah.
I thought you just meant from the movie. Oh shit!
Sorry,
That's what I
okay.
say. The franchise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can do this real quick. Honestly, I gotta go with Dylan. I like Dylan's death because he's finally part of the team after being an outsider so much in the first movie because he's the company man. Mac threatens to kill him. Him and Dutch, like the relationship is fractured. He goes to rescue Mac.
Mhm.
Dutch gives him the weapon, and he just has one of the most memorable deaths. Not only is his fucking arm blown off, you know what I mean, and it's still shooting. Then you just have that badass shot of the Predator, and boom, the wrist blade shoves it up his chest, and just his scream sticks with you. You know what I mean? So I got to go Dylan from the original.
I'm I'm going to backpedal, and from franchise, I'll have to say Hansel because it's the Billy and King Willie fight we never got to see.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, Marty, you can ask your question now because I got one last thing. Well, so you can ask your question because the last thing
Okay.
I ask you is to rank the movies, and so you go ahead and ask your question.
Bit of a controversial thing. If this does well, if they got a competent director, and if they put it 300 years into the future, 400 years into the future, 500 years into the future, good visual effects, good director, would you like to see an AVP movie, or do you think that ship has sailed?
I would be okay with it because you know what? We all know how much the fans hate it, and they've already said the AVP movies are not canon anymore. If it's written well and you have a great cast, and I think you can, how would you say, you could give that franchise a rebirth. If it's if it's part of the movies, you don't have to have so many nods to it, but if it's done well, if it looks good, you can actually see what the fuck's going on. I think we can have it, but I don't want it on Earth. I want an
Yeah,
AVP. I
I'm
want
with
to kind of
you.
like Prey or Hunter's Planet, like the books are.
Yeah.
I want that. So we can also have different types of creatures in the background type of stuff. So I do think it can happen and be successful because remember how, this franchise was going really downhill, and now even the people that hated on the Predator, hated on the AVP movies, they're now saying, "Hey, breath of fresh air." You know what I mean? So I do think it can happen and be successful.
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh man, I think what they probably should do is have an Alien movie come out first before you do another crossover between Predator and Alien again. 'Cause I think that's what they should do first. I don't know if that's I don't know what plans is he has for another Alien movie. 'Cause I
But,
have
but, but would you guys agree that the key ingredient, I think the key ingredient would be to set it in the aliens timeline. Have the colonial marines there. Have it just
That would
for
be
my
cool.
fan
I think
services, not too
no,
fan servicey.
I think that would be cool because we've never seen that, and we've already had the little Easter egg at the end of Predator 2, so we know they've fought each other before. But it would be cool to see them in the aliens' home territory. You know what I mean? That would be really, really cool. Maybe the aliens now have home field advantage, or have the. I want to see a Predator actually in an alien hive. You know what I mean?
I know.
And that stuff's already so dank and dark and cold. I want to see how it would deal in that type of environment with nothing to use other than its own wits and weapons.
Okay. RMJ wants to know, why do folks hate on Predator 2 so much? I don't know who hates on Predator 2. I love Predator 2. I mean, it's not as good as the original one, but I thought it was a decent follow up.
Well, that's the thing. How can you follow up the original? You can't.
Can't.
That movie
No,
was
it's
lightning in a
impossible.
bottle. It was it's damn near perfect for a horror movie, science fiction movie, and action movie. Predator 2, it just had. I think I said it before. Instead of big shoes to fill, it had clown shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Those are. I think it's still got a great cast. Danny Glover is. It's good seeing him not too old for this shit. You know what I mean? Being a comedic guy, he has the loyalty of his crew. King Willie, you guys know my love of that cheesy character. I don't care. I love it. It's dark. It's dirty. You feel
King
the
Willie will
heat.
see you now.
You feel the heat. And then that whole final sequence we get to see inside the Predator ship. I love it. Gary Busey is great. I don't get it. I just think a lot of people they think it sucks or they say it sucks just because it's not as good as the
Like
original.
at,
And
at the
nothing
end of
can
the
be.
day, this isn't. These movies aren't fucking Lawrence of Arabia either, lads.
Right.
Don't be looking too much into them, like
I know.
And of course, you want some candy?
Yep. Love it.
All right. All right. Last thing. How would you rank the Alien? Now, I've seen a couple of videos. People are including the crossovers. I know in my ranking, I did not include the crossovers because I consider them separate from the franchise. So, if you want to include them, you can, but then that's strictly up to you. But how would you rank the I mean, not the Alien, the Predator franchise now?
Um. Let's see here. Shit. I'm not going to include AVP because my love for the first AVP fluctuates a lot. Requiem would be kind of towards the bottom, although it does have its good moments. Let's see. At the bottom would, of course, be The Predator. I still enjoy parts of it, but it's at the bottom for a reason. I would then put Predators. I love Walton Goggins. It has a really good cast. Lawrence Fishburne is amazing in that movie.
Mhm.
But then I would say Prey over that because Prey is 10 times better than Predators, in my opinion.
Mhm.
For what we've discussed tonight. Above that would be Predator 2 for what I just said. It's got a soft spot in my heart. I've loved that movie since it came out. And then, number one, nothing's close to the original. No matter how hard they try, nothing's close to the original.
Mhm. All right, Marty. How would you rank the Predator
I'm gonna
series?
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to be the cheeky student who's gonna copy off fucking Eric's test because Xerox that shit. I'm on board. I'm fucking the Predator, the Predator at the bottom. Um, Predators, although light years ahead of the prior movie. Prey, Predator 2, Predator.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to be the odd man out
Mm.
because I do. No, because when I put my ranking video on, I put Predators. I mean, not Predators. I put the Predator and then Predators as fourth. Then I had to really fight between Prey and Predator 2,
Mm.
but because how much I really did enjoy Prey, I put Predator 2 third, Prey second, and of course Predator the first.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, no, that's understandable as well.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
mm, Anytime. All right, guys. Any final thoughts about Prey or the Predator franchise?
I highly recommend it. Had a lot of fun. Got more than what I expected. And like I said, when you go into a Predator movie, you want to see people get butchered. You want to see the action. And we got that, but I got a little bit more because, like I said, I loved the relationship between Naru and Tabe. I thought their characters were great, and those two actors, they have a future ahead of them, in my opinion, because they acted well, charisma, all around. Really, really enjoyed it. And franchise-wise, like I said, there's not a Predator movie I don't enjoy in
Mm,
one way, shape, or form. It's not a dumpster fire like everyone says. There are some problems. There are some major problems, but like Marty said, it's not fucking Lawrence of Arabia. Get your
no.
popcorn, get your beer, whatever whatever you want. Watch it. Turn your brain off once you get past Predator 2 and Prey, and you can enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, this is not the Hellraiser series.
Oh,
Not bad yet.
Any final thoughts, Marty?
Yeah, great movie, fun movie. If you're a lover of the comics, you'll definitely feel that this is a payout. Again, I do need to see that flintlock somehow make its way into the Predator thing. And one other thing before we go, I don't know what you guys think, but hashtag Dakota Beavers for a Turok movie. I need to see that dude as Joshua Fireseed.
hmm
I
Mm,
need to see him as Turok.
yeah.
mm.
Like I said, he's got a career ahead of him too. I think so. He was
Yeah,
damn good.
let's just hope they get cast in other roles
hmm
as well too, especially Amber because I want to see her in other stuff too.
Well, like I said, if Bill Duke and Jesse Ventura praised her
Hmm.
specifically, she's got a career. Especially
Hmm.
with just Jesse Ventura, he's Jesse Ventura, but
Hmm.
Bill Duke, as respected as Bill Duke is in Hollywood,
Hmm.
that's a seal of approval right there.
That's good. That's good. Well, gentlemen, I thank you very much for coming on to my channel. Eric, nice to have you finally come on my channel.
My
Now I got to
pleasure,
come
man.
on. Yeah, now I got to come on yours. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, Marty. Hopefully we get to see you this Saturday. I don't know if you're going to be available Saturday
I
for.
gotta see what I'm working. I may not be able to make
Okay.
it. I'll see what I can see what I can swing. But
Okay, yeah. So we
mm,
will be, for those of us who know about the Horror Hangout Crew, we were going to do a predictions video about Halloween 6 and Scream, no, Halloween Kills. I mean, Halloween Ends. I'll get it right. Halloween Kills ends and Scream 6 because it seems like everyone's has their own predictions or theories or whatever it's
mm,
going to be about when it comes to Michael, what's going on Scream, the Scream 6 now, what's going on. People still wanting to create these theories that Nev Campbell is going to appear on that, and even though she's now said it twice that she's not going to be in Scream 6. So, but we're gonna be talking about that and some other things on the Horror Hangout Crew.
Very cool.
Our special guest will be Ken and Ashley Sledge from Sledgehammer Productions. They're going to be guests on the show.
Very cool.
mm.
All right. What I like to do on my live streams, Eric, is if you have any type of projects you got working on with any upcoming videos you want to talk about, now is your time to shrill your own channel.
Oh, sure. Well, if this is my first time here, and I appreciate like I said, the invite because I wasn't expecting it. My channel is Hey Internet Eric here, like it says right there on my name. Um, I'm gonna be going back to the Phantasm franchise because I took a break with Shark Week, and that just killed my ass. One video a day for 7 days, and it was a lot of shitty shark movies. I'm glad to be done with that, but I do have a plan to return to the Phantasm franchise with 3, 4, and 5. I'm gonna be do some collection videos. I haven't done those in a while. I'm gonna be showing off my autographs that I have from different celebrities. And then I figured, what the hell? I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm going to do a franchise review, one video per movie of the Kickboxer movies because I found all 5 movies super cheap on eBay and I love them, the original. And I'm very curious to see where the franchise went from there. And I know it's a definite peak and valley, but I'm very interested. So that's it. And then I'm still on my vampire kick, and I'll be throwing in random vampire movies from here and there.
All right. What you got going on your channel, Marty?
But doing the odd figure review, I owe Jane a trash fire,
Hmm.
and she has the right stinker lined up, so I need to
Okay.
get right boost up for that. I have a proposal for Eric about a movie review, but I'm not going to announce it until we'll see. But
Okay.
I have a
Oh,
cool idea for a movie review.
ask her did have she seen Cat Sick Blues?
She has, she
Oh.
has. She told me all about it. Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
oh man. I just happened to I just saw that last week. It came part of my horror pack,
Mhm.
and all the people in the comments section talked about how great it was. They said I had to watch it, so I watched it, and I'm like, what the hell?
It's a Jen movie.
Yeah.
I love
Oh, yeah, it's
this. It's
definitely a
very
gin
much a
movie.
Jen movie.
All right, so what I have coming up on my channel is this new series I'm going to be doing because, as I always stated before, I am a child of the '70s. I grew up during the '70s, so starting next week, hopefully I get this together. I'll be reviewing horror movies that came out during the '70s, not the popular ones, some of the ones that most people don't know about.
Mm.
And my first one is going to be the 1972 thriller Woolard.
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh, I
nice.
love that one. That's so good.
Yes,
That's an awesome one.
actually, for some reason, don't know why my mother took me to go see that picture. Don't know why. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm one that's going to be doing. Of course, other horror movie reviews. I know Orphan First Kill will be coming out this weekend, so hopefully I have a review for that coming up soon. All right, gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for coming on the channel. I appreciate it very much.
My pleasure, man.
Uh, guys in the chat, you hope you had a great time. Thank you much for stopping by, and please stay safe out there. Because if you're living anywhere in this city, anywhere in this country, it's hot as hell. Marty, you're lucky it's not that hot over there, but I know y'all had a heat wave over there a couple weeks ago.
We're not built for it. We're not. We'd be an Oreo if we were over fucking melted. Just we were over the states,
Yeah.
man. Jesus.
Yeah, like Anna said in the original, and this year it grows very hot.
Thank you guys very much. I'll see y'all guys later, and always remember that horror rule. Good night, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.